Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to review Solicitude Wake Up VR, a game released on the Steam Store November 9th, 2020 by developer JR Production. It's available for the HTC Vive, Valve Index, and the Oculus Rift. It normally retails for $20. It's currently on a release sale, 15% off. I got a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program to review this game. The developer describes Solicitude Wake Up as a horror survival game. I didn't really see the survival aspects to this game, but I also didn't play it for very long. I played it a little over an hour, and to be honest, I did not enjoy this game. The first thing that I noticed upon starting the game is that there were no options or settings available in the game. You can basically start a new game, continue, or click on help, which shows the button mapping for your controller. There's absolutely no graphical settings or settings of any kind. The second thing that I noticed is just how dark it is in the game. Now, I do realize that this is a horror game, and like some horror games, it's dark and the flashlight is an integral part of the gameplay. You gotta keep using the flashlight in order to be able to see down the dark halls, and I get it, but it's just too dark. Especially in areas that are supposed to be lighted, it's still too dark. And even when you're using the flashlight, it's still too dark. Especially after a few seconds of using the flashlight, you'll notice it's not as bright as it used to, and it just comes to a point where it's almost useless, and you haven't even been using it that long. So I do believe the balance there is a little bit off with the flashlight not illuminating enough and then just not maintaining its brightness for enough of a period. It's just not exciting or interesting to have to constantly be switching the batteries. Although there are lots of batteries all around, maybe cut down on the amount of batteries you find and just keep the flashlight charged for a longer period would be a better trade-off than what's there now. It seems like there's just a ton of batteries all around, and then you just got to keep constantly feeding your flashlight batteries. That's just not fun or interesting gameplay. I also was just not a big fan of the visuals. Sometimes I think developers make their games intentionally dark just so people don't see how ugly their game is. This game just has a lot of corridors, a lot of halls that look exactly the same, and they're just this muddy brownish color. It's not very pleasant to look at, and a lot of the rooms are just nondescript, and you see a lot of repeat of the same assets in each room. So there's not really a whole lot of variety. A lot of the rooms look similar, the hallways all look similar, and you just have low resolution textures. It's just not a very pleasant game to look at. And this is one of those horror games that once you see the monsters, sure, the first time they might look scary, but once they're illuminated and you see them up close, you can kind of see these aren't good 3D models. They're poor textures and the animations are poor. So once you face them the first time, it kind of loses its luster after that, and it just doesn't become scary. It becomes more tedious than anything else. The sounds also aren't that great. Sure, at first, when you hear them outside the door, it is a little bit thrilling, and it seems like it might be a good game, but then you realize the spatial audio just isn't really all that great, and you hear the sounds just repeat themselves. There's just not enough depth or variety there. It's a nice start to what could have been a good sound mix for a horror game, but it's just a little too simple. Hearing monster sounds outside the door is exciting the first time, but after that, again, it loses its luster pretty soon. And the main problem with Solicitude Wake Up is that there just isn't enough variety or depth to the gameplay. Now, I didn't get far, but what I played just seemed like you're in the dark, going from room to room, searching for batteries, and I guess trying to find a key card. In the meantime, there's monsters outside the hallway roaming around, and you can hear some of them, so you know when to stay in the room and when to move out. And I think you're supposed to do certain things to also get around them. I'm not sure on that. The one time I was able to get around a corner is when I didn't use a flashlight. However, I had tried that tactic before and it just didn't work. I think maybe that one was bugged. Well, I'm not 100% positive that was a bug, but I definitely did experience another bug, and you'll see this on the video. I don't know if you noticed there towards the end of this video, but I have the red key card on my right hand and I just can't get rid of it. You'll see me holding it up in the flashlight and I'm actually trying to get rid of it, but I just can't. Obviously this is a major problem. You're supposed to pick up different colored key cards, and thus effectively my progress was stopped at that point. And because I had the red key card stuck to my right hand, that meant I couldn't put new batteries on the flashlight. And so you'll see there towards the end my flashlight is already pretty dim and there's a monster nearby and there's just not much I could do because I'm in the dark, can't see really well. So basically that was a game-breaking bug that you see there on the video if you look a little bit further here. Lastly, as far as negatives, the VR interactions in this game are just pretty poor overall. You'll see early in the video where the cabinet is pretty high, so basically you just laser point at the cabinet door to slide it open or to close it as well. That's just not very good. Even stuff like opening doors is just not very polished. So the interactions here are just pretty poor overall. This game says something about how almost all objects are interactable. I found that not to be the case. There's lots of objects that you cannot interact with at all, and there's like almost no physics to anything, so it's not really worth picking up most objects anyway. Also, as you can see on the video, the inventory system here is pretty terrible. I don't think that needs further explanation. So let's talk about the positives for this game. The sounds, like I said, are not the best, but they're okay. They're functional. You can hear the monsters outside the door. That's good, I guess. It's running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 72 frames per second, so there were no performance issues whatsoever. Also, I did not experience any crashes or anything like that, just the bugs I mentioned earlier. And I think that's it as far as positives. I really can't think of anything else. The craziest part about this game is the price. 20 bucks for this game just does not match the quality and quantity of the content. It just doesn't. This is not a $20 VR game. This is at best a budget bin horror game. I would say the quality of this game is closer to a $3 title than a 20-buck game. It just doesn't match the price at all. So I cannot recommend this game. If I have to give this game a rating, I would give it a 3 out of 10. It's just not a good game, and it's overpriced, so I don't recommend it. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you liked my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There's some other videos on this game that are pretty positive, but I'm telling you the truth. If you don't believe me, you can try out the demo for this game on the Steam store. You can download the demo for free. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.